I hope you're doing well today. We are continuing our conversation on alcohol management. This is part 2. Previously, we talked about sales. Here, we're going to be talking more about the management side of things. And so, here we go. So, our objectives today are really to understand the association of drinking alcohol and attending sporting events, as well as providing reasons why tailgating is so popular at sporting events, and also to explain why and how alcohol risk management strategies must be employed at all sporting events. It's important to manage alcohol consumption risk. There is an impact on customer experience. Poorly managed alcohol service can drive away responsible patrons, affecting the venue's reputation and long-term success. So really important that you're taking preventative measures, enforcing responsible service limits, and checking for not over-serving, but also checking IDs as well. And that you're training staff to recognize signs of intoxication and handling those situations appropriately. And providing alternative beverages, non-alcoholic options to encourage moderation. Definitely, inebriated individuals are more likely to exhibit aggressive behavior, which increases the risk of violence. Tailgating is undeniably a major part of the sports industry, but it also presents significant challenges in alcohol management. The appeal of tailgating is it boosts fan engagement, it enhances the game day experience, and fosters community. It's also low cost for organizers. It requires minimal investment while increasing event attendance, and the potential for revenue growth and on-site spending at concessions. Now, of course, there are concerns associated with alcohol management, and so if you look at the pregame consumption risks, many fans arrive already intoxicated, making responsible alcohol service inside the venue even more challenging. And of course, there are security and safety issues, the increased likelihood of disorderly behavior, fights, and even DUIs post-event. Liability considerations, organizers may face legal consequences if alcohol-related incidents occur. Some possible solutions are designating tailgating zones with clear rules on alcohol consumption and enforcing no entry policies to discourage excessive pregame drinking. Increase security and sobriety checks before allowing entry into the stadium, and offering alternative transportation options like sober driver programs or ride-sharing partnerships. There is data that underscores the significant public safety and liability concerns associated with alcohol consumption at sporting events, particularly regarding tailgating and intoxication norms. Tailgaters are 14 times more likely to exceed the legal blood alcohol content limit, increasing the risk of disorderly behavior, DUI incidents, and medical emergencies. Another factor is age. Those under 35 are at a higher risk of excessive drinking, requiring targeted interventions such as ID verification and responsible service training. And cultural norms. The perception that drinking to get drunk is socially acceptable makes it harder to enforce responsible drinking guidelines. Some strategies to mitigate these risks are enhanced enforcement, strict tailgating policies, designated alcohol-free zones, and increased security presence. And responsible beverage service, training your staff to recognize signs of intoxication and refusing service when necessary. And again, providing alcohol-free alternatives. And also public awareness campaigns, so educating attendees on the risks of excessive drinking and encouraging safe consumption habits. Here you can see what represents the standard drink equivalents for different types of alcoholic beverages, which is crucial for responsible alcohol service and management. Each of these servings contains approximately the same amount of pure alcohol, roughly 14 grams or 0.6 ounces of ethanol. A 12 ounce of beer is roughly about 5% alcohol. 8 to 9 ounces of malt liquor, which is about 7% alcohol. And then you have 5-ounce table wine, which is about 12% alcohol. And then 1.5-ounce shot of 80 proof liquor, which is 40% alcohol. So why does this matter? It helps venues regulate alcohol service to prevent overconsumption. It ensures your bartenders and servers understand equivalent servings, and it aids in enforcing responsible beverage service policies and provides a guideline for patrons to gauge their alcohol intake. There is predictability of alcohol-related issues at intercollegiate sporting events, especially among university students. For many years, they would not allow alcohol at university events for this reason. The combination of pre-game drinking, such as tailgating, the in-game alcohol availability, and then post-game celebrations makes alcohol-related incidents of major concern for campus and event organizers. So students are more likely to consume alcohol on game days, amplifying risks like disorderly conduct, fights, and DUI incidents. Over 40% of college students who drink engage in binge drinking, increasing the likelihood of blackouts, alcohol poisoning, and risky behavior. Given the established pattern of alcohol consumption before, during, and after games, universities can be held accountable if proper alcohol management policies are not enforced. So again, limiting tailgating alcohol policies, restricting where they can tailgate, enforcing cutoff times, and increasing monitoring, and then that strict ID check, and again, making sure that you have alcohol-free entertainment options. So alternative social events to reduce peer pressure, and educational awareness. So implementing targeted messaging around responsible drinking and the dangers of binge drinking, and increasing the available of safe ride programs, designated driver incentives, and police presence near these venues is supported. When it comes to safety on university campuses, understanding the legal responsibilities of landowners is crucial. One key aspect of this responsibility is foreseeability. Foreseeability is about the degree to which a university knows or should have known that an invitee, such as a student or visitor, may be exposed to the possibility of injury while on their property. If the risk of injury is foreseeable, the university has a duty to prevent it. This brings us to an important concept in premises liability, which holds landowners accountable for injuries occurring on their property, whether it's a university campus, a store, or a private residence. In premises liability, the landowner is responsible for maintaining the safety of their property, making sure that hazards are identified and mitigated to prevent injuries. Now, when it comes to the duty owed to individuals on the property, the highest level of care is extended to business invitees. These are individuals who come to the property in exchange for money, such as students, professors, and visitors to campus events. This duty ensures that the landowner takes reasonable steps to protect invitees from harm, such as ensuring that the pathways are clear, the buildings are maintained, and the campus is safe for all to enter. But what about the actions of third parties? Sometimes injuries happen not because of the landowner's direct negligence, but because of the conduct of others. A landowner's duty to manage the act of third parties, such as preventing fights, vandalism, or other harmful behaviors, doesn't arise until they have knowledge, or should reasonably have knowledge, that such behavior and it could endanger the safety of visitors. In other words, a university isn't automatically responsible for every act of misconduct on criminal activity on its property, but if they have prior knowledge or there's a history of incidents in certain areas, they must take action to prevent harm. Ultimately, landowners, whether universities or businesses, have a responsibility to be aware of the risks present on their property and take reasonable steps to prevent injury, especially if those risks are foreseeable. By understanding these concepts, foreseeability, premises liability, and the duty to protect invitees, universities can create safer environments for everyone on campus. typically when we talk about risk management, we use the risk management matrix. And so we're looking at the risk of occurrence. How likely or unlikely is the event to happen? And what is the seriousness of the injury or damages? Is it minor? Is it medium or moderate? Or is it significant? And so here we'll talk a little bit about some of the things that can occur and where they fall in that matrix. Fisticuffs, really, alcohol can fuel aggression, leading to fights between opposing fans. And so you can see on the chart here, that is something that it is possible. It is likely, it is possible to occur. And it can become a moderate event. It can result in injury or damages. And so it is something that you have to be aware of and manage. As far as injuries, intoxication impairs coordination, resulting in accidents like broken bones or falls on broken glass. And so you can see that when alcohol is related, there is likely a risk of occurrence, and it is moderate. And so it is something that again, you have to be careful of. Fire hazards. This would be in the case of tailgating. Tipped grills can spill hot coals, creating fire risk under cars, especially right now with the drought that we're in. That can happen very quickly. And in that particular situation, that would be, it is very likely, and the damages or injury related could be significant. In the case of property damage, where windblown tents or equipment can damage vehicles, again, you can see this is something, it doesn't happen often, but in Corpus Christi, where we have a lot of wind, like we do today, it's something that I would probably rank this a little more possible than unlikely. Other places, it might be a little more unlikely, but here, it's a little more possible. And now the seriousness of injury or damages is probably going to be minor. As far as violence is concerned, alcohol can escalate conflicts to dangerous violence, including shootings, things along that line. And so you have to be aware of that and be able to, that would be something that would cause serious injury or damage and would be significant. But is it something that's likely? It depends upon whether or not they have been screened. Are there screens that they have to go through to get into the event? And really, we've gotten better about managing that with the clear bag rule and the security. Post-event risks, of course, over intoxication can lead to impaired driving, accidents, or alcohol poisoning. And so in that particular situation, it would be, it's not something that is likely, it's something that is unlikely to occur, but there is a seriousness of injury or damages if it does occur. Some alcohol risk management recommendations are to, of course, monitor alcohol consumption. Every person attempting to purchase alcohol must have their identification checked to ensure they are of legal age, and that no more than 2 alcoholic drinks should be sold during an individual transaction to prevent overconsumption. The size of each alcoholic beverage served should be no larger than 12 ounces to help control alcohol intake. And alcohol sales must end at a specific point during the event to reduce the risk of over-intoxication later in the event. Make sure you're training staff to spot over-intoxication and prevent altercations, and that you have crowd management personnel that are stationed at the facility entrances to, number one, prevent intoxicated individuals from entering, but also to ensure patrons do not bring alcoholic beverages into the facility. Some other management strategies are, again, providing designated drivers or safe transportation options and ensure proper setup and safety measures for equipment. All of this can help minimize your risk for a safer and more enjoyable experience. To sum all of this up, Alcohol is often associated with attending athletic games due to the social nature of these events where fans gather to celebrate, bond, and enhance the overall experience. For many, drinking is part of that tradition as it creates a festive atmosphere and allows fans to engage with the game in a more relaxed and celebratory manner. Tailgating is popular because it offers fans a chance to socialize, enjoy food and drinks, and prepare for the game in a fun, communal setting. It fosters a sense of camaraderie among fans and builds excitement for the event and serves as an extended celebration before and after the game. But alcohol risk management is crucial to prevent over-intoxication, maintain safety, and avoid accidents or violence. And so strategies including limiting alcohol sales, monitoring consumption, providing designated driver programs, and ensuring security is visible and proactive. These measures help ensure that alcohol does not negatively impact the fan experience or the safety of attendees. And that is all that I have for you today. Have a great day. I look forward to talking with you again in chapter 12. Have a great day.